Canto 4. The poet descends into limbo where he finds those who have lived virtuously, but through lack of baptism do not merit the bliss of paradise. Broke the deep slumber in my brain a crash of heavy thunder. Then I shook myself as one by main force roused. Risen upright, my rested eyes I moved around and searched with fixed ken to know what place it was wherein I stood. For certain on the brink I found me of the lamentable vale, the dread abyss that joins a thunderous sound of plaints innumerable. Dark and deep and thick with clouds overspread, mine eye in vain explored its bottom, nor could aught discern. Now let us to the blind world there beneath descend, the bard began, all pale of look. I go the first, and thou shalt follow next. Then I, his altered hue perceiving thus, how may I speed if thou yieldest to dread, who still art wont to comfort me in doubt? He then, the anguish of that race below with pity stains my cheek, which thou for fear mistakest. Let us on, our length of way urges to haste. Onward this said he moved, and entering led me with him on the bounds of the first circle that surrounds the abyss. Here, as mine ear could note, no plaint was heard except of sighs that made the eternal air tremble, not caused by tortures, but from grief felt by those multitudes, many and vast, of men, women, and infants. Then to me the gentle guide, inquirest thou not what spirits are these which thou beholdest? Ere thou passed farther, I would thou know that these of sin were blameless, and if aught they merited, it profits not, since baptism was not theirs, the portal to thy faith. If they before the gospel lived, they served not God aright, and among such am I. For these defects, and for no other evil, we are lost, only so far afflicted that we live desiring without hope. Sore grief assailed my heart at hearing this, for well I knew suspended in that limbo many a soul of mighty worth. Oh, tell me, sire revered, tell me, my master, I began through wish of full assurance in that holy faith which vanquishes all error. Say, did ever any, or through his own or others' merit, come forth from thence who afterward was blessed? Piercing the secret purport of my speech, he answered, I was new to that estate when I beheld a puissant one arrive among us, with victorious trophy crowned. He forth the shade of our first parent drew, Abel his child, and Noah righteous man, and Moses lawgiver for faith approved, of patriarch Abraham and David king, Israel with his sire and with his sons, nor without Rachel whom so hard he won, and others many more, whom he to bliss exalted. Before these be thou assured no spirit of humankind was ever saved. We, while he spake, ceased not our onward road, still passing through the wood, for so I name those spirits thick beset. We were not far on this side from the summit when I kenned a flame that o'er the darkened hemisphere prevailing shined. Yet we a little space were distant, not so far, but I in part discovered that a tribe in honor high that place possessed. O thou who every art and science valuest, who are these that boast such honor separate from all the rest? He answered, the renown of their great names that echoes through your world above acquires favor in heaven, which holds them thus advanced. Meantime a voice I heard, honor the bard sublime, his shade returns that left us late. No sooner ceased the sound than I beheld 4 mighty spirits toward us bend their steps, of semblance neither sorrowful nor glad. When thus my master kind began, mark him, who in his right hand bears that falchion keen, the other 3 preceding as their lord. This is that Homer, of all bards supreme, Flaccus the next, in satire's vein excelling, The third is Nassau, Lucan is the last, because they all that appellation own, with which the voice singly accosted me, honoring they greet me thus, and well they judge. So I beheld united the bright school of him, the monarch of sublimest songs, that over the others like an eagle soars. When they together short discourse had held, they turned to me, with salutation kind beckoning me, at the which my master smiled. Nor was this all, but greater honours still they gave me, for they made me of their tribe, and I was sixth amid so learned a band. Far as the luminous beacon on me passed, speaking of matters then befitting well to speak, now fitter left untold. At foot of a magnificent castle we arrived, 7 times with lofty walls begirt, and round defended by a pleasant stream. Over this as over dry land we passed. Next through 7 gates I with those sages entered, and we came into a mead with lively verdure fresh. There dwelt a race who slow their eyes around majestically moved, and in their port bore eminent authority. They spake seldom, but all their words were tuneful sweet. We to one side retired, into a place open and bright and lofty, whence each one stood manifest to view. From continent there on the green enamel of the plain were shown me the great spirits, by whose sight I am exalted in my own esteem. Electra there I saw accompanied by many, among whom Hector I knew, and Chryses' pious son, and with hawk's eyes Caesar all armed, and Camilla there Penthesilea. On the other side old King Latinus seated by his child Lavinia, and that Brutus I beheld who Tarquin chased, Lucretia, Cato's wife, Marcia, with Julia and Cornelia there, and sole apart retired the Soldan fierce. When a little more I raised my brow, I spied the master of the sapient throng, seated amid the philosophic train. Him all admire, all pay him reverence due. There Socrates and Plato both I marked nearest to him in rank, Democritus, who sets the world at chance, Diogenes, with Heraclitus, and Empedocles, and Anaxagoras, and Thales sage, Zeno, and Dioscorides well read in nature's secret lore. Orpheus I marked in Linus, Tully and moral Seneca, Euclid and Ptolemy, Hippocrates, Galenus, Avicen, and him who made the commentary vast, Averroes. Of all to speak at full were vain attempt. For my wide theme so urges, that ofttimes my words fall short of what bechanced. Into the 6th associates part, another way my sage guide leads me, from that air serene into a climate ever vexed with storms, and to a part I come where no light shines.